I don't want to spend too long on this as there's already a lot that's been said about the Taken franchise, including by me. I often use the series as an example of how not to do action, with even the first film that somehow gets a lot of praise not doing it for me at all, and the less said about the second and the third, the better. That said, I watched Civil War recently for a video and was not a huge fan of some of the action sequences in that, feeling it was a bit too Taken-esque. However, as I hadn't seen any of the Taken films for a while, I thought I'd better go back and refresh my memory to see if Civil War is any better technically when it comes to the fight and chase sequences, or if Taken really is that bad. Okay, I can confirm, Civil War's worst fight is not anywhere near as bad as anything in a Taken film. I can say that much. At least it's in a wide open space with two very visually distinct characters. I do wish Civil War and other action films would do a better job of this sort of thing, especially if it would be so easy for both of these actors to be portrayed by very skilled stuntmen who you wouldn't need to edit around. Taken, however, really is that bad. Okay, actually by comparison, Taken 1 isn't as bad as the others. Sure, I'm not a fan of it, but at least I could work out what was going on. I don't like the action or the film in general, but I can understand what is happening. I guess Pierre Morel is just a better director of action than the sequel's Olivier Megaton. Yeah, that's really what every action scene in 2 and 3 is like. Alright, enough of that for now. Let's watch a bit of a chase scene from Point Break. It's a bit shaky and fast, but it works very well for the scene. It's emotionally charged and gritty, but very easy to follow. It's one of the best foot chase sequences ever, to be fair. So if Point Break's a bit unfair to compare, how about Narc's opening chase? You're thrown into this, it's crazily shaky, but it sort of works for the film. It's supposed to make you feel out of breath, to really feel that intensity. Yet because it's so shaky, they use long takes to give you always just enough time to work it all out. Now this. What is this? What is this shot? Why is this here? Let's see someone jump over a fence in Point Break. Now in Taken 3. Christ. This bit in Fast 5? Pretty clear, all good. This bit in Taken 2? Good lord. I don't really need to explain the issues here, do I? How about this car chase bit? Now really, can you tell what is happening from this? Do you know where the guys in a black SUV are in relation to Liam Neeson? Let's go over to Tony Scott, a man known for his chaotic, quick-cut action sequences. This is Enemy of the State. It's fast, it's violent, but you know what is happening. Geography in these things is always flexible, as long as, say, you keep a left-to-right movement, or cut to a wide often, to establish where folks are in the space. That's all you usually need. As long as you cut to something that makes sense. Not this or this. More something like this. That cut makes sense. From where I've seen them shoot, I already kinda knew where the bullets would land, and this just confirms it. This? Okay, I think it's a grill, but come on, it's there for half a second and I can't even tell which way the car is facing versus where the cops were shooting. I did not expect at all where those bullets were going to land. Is it worth wasting time on something like Taken 3, which is bad even without considering the action sequences? Am I just being unfair now? Not really. This was a very successful franchise and it was pretty cheap. Producers will look at that. They will see the budget to profit ratios, and as this is an action film, they will look at the action as being a part of that. They will look at how expensive it is to cover an action scene properly, to spend time planning and shooting, versus boring choreography with people that can barely do it, and how much better it is to roll 9 cameras at once for half a day than to get 3 cameras going over 3 days for one scene. Financially it makes sense, but you're not making quality cinema. I know I'm probably asking for too much, but if we accept fight sequences like this, we're gonna keep getting fight sequences like this. It's not about how fast the cuts are, it's about what happens on the set. about how fast that is. You might not believe it or realize it, but we can tell when you're creating false intensity. Shaking the camera like a madman and cutting quickly doesn't suddenly make your action scene better or even just more intense. It just makes it frustrating. If you're a filmmaker, please start thinking like an audience. We weren't there when you shot this, so we need a bit more time to keep up with everything. And frankly, just because you have half a dozen cameras rolling, you can still only use 1 or 2 of the camera's respective footage, if that is all you need. Here's a very quick re-edit I did of that fence jump, simply to move the dog audio and cut out some of the shots. It took me a couple of minutes. It works better, right, compared to this? I'm making this video really as a way of highlighting the absolute worst case of this style of chaos cinema, as some call it, but also as a plea to you guys. If we keep paying for this shit, then this is the future of your action films. I'm not saying just immediately go out and buy Ninja 2 or whatever, but I am saying that if you're unhappy with this sort of thing, be aware that there are better action sequences being made out there. Also, for the love of God, everybody please go see John Wick 2 in cinemas. Show them we want more of this. Vote with your wallet, because I definitely want a lot more of this.